F1 is a new movie that is released this weekend, and my thoughts on it are this movie's awesome. F1 is a movie that follows Sonny Hayes, played by Brad Pitt, who's that guy that didn't quite make it when he was younger, and he's given a chance to fulfill his dream. In this movie, it's becoming an F1 winning racer. Upon arriving to the F1 team, he meets the young, cocky, arrogant racer, and this movie's about them trying to learn how to work together as a team without getting in each other's way. This movie is an absolute blast. I will say, about an hour into the movie, I was like, okay, like this is a good movie, but it isn't my favorite race car movie. And it's nothing really worth hyping about. And then boy, did it pick up like crazy, and it just got awesome. As I said earlier, F1 follows the typical format where old guy gets to come back and live out his dream and try to do the one thing that he wasn't able to do when he was in his prime, while also simultaneously fighting against a new up-and-comer that is in their prime. I will say the beat-by-beat plot points and everything like that is pretty predictable, especially when it comes to like a race car movie. Like you kind of anticipate when like the typical race car crash is going to happen. You anticipate when the redemption is going to come. You anticipate when the cocky arrogant guy is going to learn his lesson and actually value a teaching moment and things like that. So that stuff's predictable, but the way this is shot and the visuals that are in this movie, the performances that are given are so good. It's insane. And one thing that I will say too, it's so intense in so many different moments of racing. Like, of course you always want it to have a happy ending, but there's times where you're like, you question, oh shit, will it have a happy ending or will it not? It's very gripping, and it literally has you on the edge of your seat. There's a person like a few seats down from me who literally in the last race was sitting at the edge of their chair because they were so just into the movie and the story just grasped them that much. I will say my favorite aspect of this movie is when they take the old school racing mentality and the new school racing mentality, not just mentality, but style of racing and trainings and things like that, and then bring them together because it shows that you can learn from each one. For example, when it comes to reaction times, they have like that spider thing that you play at like Chuck E. Cheese or whatever that you played at when you were a kid. They have that to train for reaction time, and they have like this crazy all these things hooked up to the kid for when he's running on the treadmill and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Brad Pitt's there with tennis balls and just running the track that they're going to race on. So there's benefits to both, but the old school one in this instance, in my opinion, is better because while he's running the track, he's still getting his cardio in and he gets a feel for the track. He can see where certain grooves are in certain spots, so he can remember that when he's racing. He can see with the type of material that there is, if there's different material and things like that will all help when he's racing the car. And the tennis balls, it's just reaction time, and it also focuses on his grip for the tennis balls too. So you're going to be gripping the steering wheel. You're not necessarily gripping the little spider thing for the reaction. So that's just how I took it. Let me know if you took it in a different interpretation. Later on in the film too, they implement new school racing techniques, whereas when they're training, instead of driving an actual car on the track, they have an AI simulation of the exact format of how the track is, of how the weather is, of how the car is, all the mechanics and things like that. And Sonny, he goes and does that. So, and then when JP, the young guy, when he, after spoilers, after his accident, he gets injured, and instead of doing the training that's actually hurting his hands, the spiderweb thing, he goes to the tennis ball one. So they each learn from each other and from that new and old school style of racing. The messaging in this movie is also something that I really loved. Throughout the entire movie, everybody always asks Sonny, why are you here? What are you doing here? Why do you want to do this? And he kind of just plays it off. Even in the movie itself, he doesn't necessarily answer. But if you ask JP, the young guy, why are you doing this? He says he loves the fame, he loves the money, he loves the free clothes, and everything like that. And that's not what it's about for Sonny. What it's about for Sonny, which isn't even said, but is heavily implied all throughout the movie, which you kind of pick up on immediately if you know what this feeling is. He just likes to do it. He loves to do it because it's fun. He lives out of this van. He doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about the fame. He doesn't even care about the trophy. He just likes doing it because he loves it. And also to prove a point to himself that he can do it, because when he was younger, he got injured really bad. So it's to prove a point to yourself and to prove the doubters wrong, but also you do it because it's what you love to do. If you love the money, you can do something else to get money. You will never get that thrill and that rush and that hit from racing if you don't truly love it. And that's the point that Sonny was trying to prove without actually saying it. And this is this part of the story that JP learns as he goes along through the movie. One aspect of the movie that wasn't bad, but to me it wasn't great, was the romance between Brad Pitt's character and I can't think of the actress's name right now, but the main girl in the movie. Their chemistry was good, but the love story wasn't believable to me per se. I wish that like maybe that when they were younger they had a history together and then they broke up because of his accident or because of whatever, and then this was their reconciliation. I would have liked that a little bit more. Again, the performances were bad, just how they fell for each other wasn't very believable to me. Aside from that, though, this movie is layered with another wonderful score by Hans Zimmer. The direction of this movie by Joseph Kosinski is amazing. He took that Top Gun feel where they had the cameras in the cockpit and put it into the driver pit. I don't know what it's called, but they put it essentially into the driver's seat. And there's so many moments in this movie where like you feel like you're Brad Pitt in that car driving or a race car driver in that car. It's amazing that the way that they shot this is how it makes you feel while watching. It's almost indescribable. For being a 2.5 hour movie, I felt that it's very well paced. Of course, it could have been a little bit shorter, but it wasn't really needed. I didn't really feel the length of the movie, if that makes any sense. Even with its predictability, the story kept a good pace, and every race was so exciting to watch because you're just inching to see what they were going to do next as to how they were going to win and get on the scoreboard. A majority of this movie is just them trying to get into the top 10th place because they hadn't done it yet. It's almost like Ted Lasso for F1. F1 to me has a high rewatchability factor. I saw it in IMAX and I can't wait to go back again and see it in 4D and in ScreenX. This is definitely a multi-viewing film, and I think it's one that you truly will never get tired of. Anytime you're just kind of bored and sitting around, if you're there just like, hey, you want to throw on F1? You'll watch that movie in its entirety and you'll have a great time doing it. This may very well be the top movie of the month for me personally, and potentially maybe even in my top 5 of the year. I give this movie a solid 8.7 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts down below about F1. Do you agree or disagree with any of my takes? Did you enjoy the movie or not enjoy the movie? Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies. Peace.